I think technology-wise, everything might actually work tonight.
Yeah, sounds good. Looks good.
I had a few minutes to make sure everything was okay.
All the proper lights are blinking and flashing. Hey,
Yes.
we're powering speed. 908-751-0211. 0211.
Yeah, you got it. It was a week, Tom. Really? It was an extra week.
I know.
And don't forget to like us on the Facebook and the iTunes.
And don't forget to like Tad's build thread if you
Yes. When I
Yeah,
get
we're
the
gonna
pictures.
I was actually going to give you a pass on that, but
Now that you heard,
That's one.
that's one. We'll recap that later. I couldn't understand. Like, I mean, we finally got your motor back.
Mhm.
We got most of the parts together. You sorted out your injector dilemma, what you were going to use. You've got everything kind of all set up.
The hammer's in the vicinity right now.
And then I said to you on Wednesday or Thursday, I said, "Hey, how's your car going?" "It's not." I said, "Why is it not?" And he's, "I haven't been there to take pictures."
Build thread.
yep.
Could you please explain yourself? Because you do realize if you can only get down there on Fridays, that means that a work week would take approximately what? Month and a half?
I mean, can get there other days, but you know what? After I just drove home from Pennsylvania, I'm not dealing with the traffic in East Brunswick.
Build thread.
I want pictures of this motor before it's packed up in the car.
Why?
Because it's never going to come out again.
Yeah, but why?
I would much rather, instead of having pictures of it, I would rather be able to drive it.
Yeah.
Just my
That's
personal
the
thought.
idea, right?
We're going to have to call Tim and tell him to put all the cutting apparatus away.
Yeah.
I need to come down there and get pictures.
Yeah, but
I will be
what
there
if
in
he did
August.
some shit?
Oh, well, he's got to put it back.
You know what? Let's just drop everything and fly down there tomorrow. Just in case he's working on something, we'll take some pictures.
There you go. I'll bring my iPhone.
And you know what we're going to do, right?
Build thread?
Absolutely. We have to.
Tad, I'm sorry, dude. That's the gayest thing I've ever heard you say.
You know what? I'll actually start talking to Fudd again to get his build thread going.
He has one too?
Well, you got to start building something to have a build thread.
That's true. Good
All right.
point.
So where were you, Thomas?
I was all over the Middle East.
Or you know.
Yeah, we did our, actually I was at the Custom Show Emirates. I want to shout out to my guys over there, especially the big boss, Saeed. They put on a really good show. A lot of SEMA people there. You wouldn't believe who was there. Cook's headers, Magnuson, American Racing headers. I'm just talking about all the people that we know.
You know what the problem is? People like me. And, I would like to think a lot of people are like me as far as what they view over their like.
Yep.
They think that it's kind of, I don't want to say third world type thing, but they don't think, like you said, Mike, it's beautiful there. I could live there.
Oh, yeah.
It's, it's like being here, but in a different place.
Only slightly warmer in the summer.
Slightly warmer. Yeah.
I heard a story on that. I'll make it quick. So last summer, it was, I want to say it was 58, which I think is like 129. I don't know if the numbers are right, but they said it was 58 degrees Celsius. And an Emirates 380 landed, and the runway was so hot, it blew all the tires.
Really?
And the thing flopped down on its engines and like ground the engines down. And nobody got hurt. Nothing was on fire, but it gets that hot.
But that's not the hottest region over there, right?
No, it is. It's one of. Yeah.
All right.
It's hot. It's hot and humid in Dubai.
Probably
Yeah,
the hottest
that's
paved
what
region.
it was. Because
Yeah.
I figured, everybody says, well, it's fine. It's a dry heat.
No, it's not a dry heat.
If you
So certain times of year it is, but certain times it's not. And in the summer it's not. It's like hitting a wall of disgusting. It's hot. I was there. It was only 117.
Was it a dry heat?
It's not a dry heat.
Oh.
He just said that. Ted.
Didn't we just go over that?
I'm more looking at the people texting.
Build thread.
Damn right.
Sorry. So they put on a really good show. The U.S. team versus the Dubai team. Actually, they did 2 engine build-offs this year. They did a TB48, which is like it's a Nissan. It's like actually for all of our Nissan fans, which are like that one guy in Utah. It's like a giant RB26. It's an inline, and they run them in their Nissan Patrols. They put turbos on and make 2,000 horsepower, and they go sand racing. So they did 2 of them, naturally aspirated. One guy from Saudi Arabia and one guy from KSG is from Sharjah, I believe, or Fujairah. I don't know, one of the Emirates, right? So the local team, the more local team, brought in a buddy of mine, this guy Mario. He's a killer Motec tuner. He's like, he shows up, and if it's a tuning contest, he's one of the boys. So they won that one, and the U.S. team versus the Dubai team. The U.S. team did really well. They made 478 horsepower out of the same package that we've had for 3 years.
Now, what motor was that?
416 LS3. Our rotator, our valve gear.
How big?
How big? What
motor?
416.
Oh, okay.
I did say that.
Yeah, you did.
I know you're all hung up on Ted's build.
I've got
build thread,
casting numbers and everything.
right.
Yeah, I know.
916s, 805s, 2.5s. I'm all messed up.
I know you have been doing a lot of shit. But yeah, it's 416. The previous, I think, power record.
What is that? A 4 1/8, or is that an aluminum block motor? So
Aluminum.
It's a 4065.
Yeah.
4-inch.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Howard had the record. I think he made a 458 horsepower pull, and Matt made 478, but he had fully CNC ported heads, which I think is where the power was.
And these are nice, drivable things.
Yeah. Yep. Actually, the guy from the other team I'm not knocking them. They were great guys. I mean, he treated us so good. The other team treated us good. The people that run the venue treated us good. I mean, they were bringing food into the work area. Just they really take care of us over there. Good time, really good time. And the guys from last year built a really cool trophy. The winner of the previous year, his responsibility is to build the trophy.
Mm-hmm.
So Howard built the trophy for last year.
Right.
The guy that won last year built a trophy out of ProMod aluminum rods, ProMod ProMed pistons, and Jessel rockers. And I'm not doing it justice just saying that, but he did a great job, and then he polished the whole thing. Badass. I mean, it couldn't have been a cooler trophy. I'll put a picture of it up.
Well, I was looking at pictures from the show, and you see all these crazy like desert trucks and everything.
Yeah.
With, everything's twin turbocharged.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody over there that's into cars not have something that makes like under 2,000? It looks like everything there is just.
Everybody has something crazy.
Well, even you told me like the dune buggy things are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like the amount of power that they make.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the amount of money they cost. Between $250 and $350.
My God.
For a dune buggy.
For a dune buggy.
And the GM dealer there. Actually, next year we're going to do late model trucks DI with Magnuson superchargers, and the Chevy dealer he's now gonna sponsor the event. So he's gonna the trucks are gonna be for sale after the event.
What's a shame about this? Like, we can talk about this event, and I mean, I got to tell you, like, I looked through all the pictures as it was coming up. When it was going on, it looks like a really cool show, and it looks like a really cool place to go. But
it is.
I mean, most of our guys, the bulk of our listeners are United States, so I can't imagine too many of them are going to hop on a plane just to go check out. It's not like a road trip.
No,
it's not like you can just jump in a car and go.
No, the ride back was 14 and a half hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least you didn't get dragged off, right?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't get dragged off.
That would be.
It's a whole other story.
You'll pay to see that video if it was, but
I'll tell you what though, I did have a little bit of a harrowing experience.
With what?
With my seat.
You didn't tell me that.
Well, no, of course not. I didn't tell you yet.
Okay.
I figured I'd save it for the show.
the nut bowl fell down.
Or it might be
between
the
seats, or-
particular reason that you don't pick up the phone, but that's okay. Well, it's another.
Come on. Yeah, my seat wouldn't recline.
Oh,
Wouldn't go into the sleep position. So
That's harrowing.
it is, man. 14 and a half hours.
yeah.
You kidding me? What are you listening to you?
I'd get upset from Florida if it didn't do that.
We're not talking to recline a little bit. We're talking
Yeah.
about, they turn
you
turn into beds, right?
Oh, you had
Yeah,
like
I know your type.
the egg pod kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty badass.
Yeah.
I only got that twice.
You talking about Junior's been doing for years?
Yeah.
Nope.
Same thing that I've been doing for years.
What?
Dummy.
But I feel like Tad. Now I'm lost.
I don't know. He said
Whatever. Just
his man crush.
bypass them.
I've never gone over there, not in business. Dummy.
Yeah, I would imagine a 14-hour flight would be.
Pretty bad if you got to sit there, right? So it doesn't recline. So I call the head of the cabin crew.
Yeah.
You can't call them stewardesses anymore. They're cabin crew.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I said, listen, I don't know what you're going to do here, but I hope there's one seat left up here because my seat is broken. And they reset it. And it was broken. And there was one other seat. One.
Did you get it?
Of course.
Okay.
So I went back there and I reclined it, watched a movie, ate, reclined it all the way, went to sleep for a while, woke back up, and it also broke. It wouldn't go back up. So if I wanted to sit, I had to go back to my original seat and sit. And if I wanted to lay down, it was crazy. So they wrote up a thing. I mean, I'm going to get money back, you know. Just crazy. It's bad luck.
See what you missed, Mike?
You know, after stuff that's going on other locations of the world, like I'm supposed to go, you know, to a couple places. I don't think I'm going anywhere.
Don't you have that electronic show in Syria?
No, that one was postponed.
Yeah.
Something about you know, clouds.
Yeah.
I think they ended up being tomahawks.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. No, I'm supposed to probably Ukraine, and where I got to go, it's probably fine. But I mean, I don't know if anywhere's fine. But you know what's fucked up? Where that St. Petersburg thing happened?
Yep.
My whatever you want to call him. I call him head of development. He calls himself a COO, whatever. He was right there, like right exactly where that problem happened.
Really?
Like a week before.
Oof.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So you think about stuff like that. You say, well, you missed it by a week.
Yeah.
That's too close.
Yeah, it's too close for me. So I think I'll pass. But now it's every time I always ask you, well, could you live there? And this time you're like, yeah, probably could.
Pretty good.
Probably could.
Yeah. I think.
And you said they're up like 24 hours a day, right? Like they don't sleep?
No, they're nocturnal. They really are.
Oh, is it cooler at night or no?
Yeah, it's cooler at night, but that's not why. They live pretty much on our time frame because they have to, you know, order parts. And so in regular weeks, they get up like 10, 11, 12 in the afternoon. And then they work, you know, till they eat dinner at midnight, 11 o'clock, midnight. It's crazy.
That's how it used to be at TK back in the day.
No, it was never that bad, dude. I mean, but you said they're up like kind of at, I don't want to say in normal time, but I mean, they go more hours than we do.
Yeah, they do. No doubt.
Well,
but they also take a lot of vacations and they get their time. They get their time back. They stole some time from us.
Yeah, I know the whole stalled time thing, which I still don't
you.
really get. All right. So I guess Corvette update.
Yeah, let's do it.
It is in fact there at the chassis shop finally.
Yep.
I spoke to Tim.
Who's going to take the pictures?
I don't know. We'll have to work on that for the build
For
rate.
the build rate,
Well, just
yeah.
fly your drone down there.
Maybe we'll send you down there, Todd.
Nah.
On the drone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get a heavy lift apparatus, pick your ass up.
Good luck with that.
So it is there.
Yep.
I got into a discussion with Howard about it, and Howard with Tim about it, and Tim reminded me, I do this every day, Mike. It ain't that big a deal.
Yeah. Especially that car. Like he's got Pro Mod stuff in there that's ultra complicated.
But this is mine.
I know. I'm not knocking you, man. I'm just saying I think he can do it.
What I was concerned about was turbocharger fitment.
Yep.
Because I don't care how much you do this all day long, that there's certain things in that car you can't move.
That is true.
You can't move the block. You can't move the torque tube.
Right.
And you really couldn't even do anything to the floor because like right where the turbos would sit is like right in the footwell.
Yeah.
So there's really not much to move. So they have to fit. And then there was, you and I have been over this. There's been some discrepancy about what to use and what would fit and what wouldn't. So I guess we're finally on the path there. I actually got a pair at a home run price used.
Yep.
That are going back to precision and be gone over, which should be pretty good. A guy's upgrading.
Yeah, the Anthony pair worked out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it worked out.
That's good. And they're V-band both sides.
And I want to clarify, it wasn't Anthony, it was Anthony's guy.
Yeah.
I'm buying it directly. He's actually from over there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who is it?
I don't know.
Bader?
I don't know. It was Mustang or some shit.
Yeah, don't know.
But these things, I mean, it should be right. You checked with somebody and they said it should be okay. And they should fit.
Well, they said perfect, not okay.
Okay, perfect. But I still have questions.
Of course you do.
Well, you have to know something to do it, don't you? I mean, you don't. Do you just want to be the guy that says, what do I need? They say this, you say, okay, great, thanks. Then you don't know if it something isn't up to par where you want it to be,
then you don't know.
No,
we definitely have to know the size of the volute.
It's not so much that. I mean, I want to know, like there was a whole thing about the T3 versus T4 housing, the AR, and now there's questions about wastegates. And I mean, I don't want to do this a couple times. I want to do it once.
No, we got to do it once.
So that's kind of my whole deal.
Don't our guys should be able to help us with all that stuff.
Who?
Our listeners.
Well, I mean,
how many Corvette ones have been down this track,
Well, the problem is all the Corvette kits, like when you look at the Corvette kits that people make, they're beautiful. I mean, they've put a lot of time in them. There's one from here, like if I was going to buy one, like if I was just going to set out and buy one and not build something, the one from Huron Speed is beautiful. I mean, absolutely looks like they put a lot of time into that. And they do list turbochargers like in the size we need. So I'm sure they will fit.
The headers or manifolds?
Headers.
Hey, I have a timeout. Why don't we have Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Yeah, I changed some stuff.
Oh, is it Keybase?
No, yeah, you could try that one.
Well, it's open.
Okay. Did you get in yet?
Nope. She's no work.
Okay.
That's how we say it in Italian.
Well, it should work.
Right.
It's like Wop-Tarts.
I love them.
We got to put that on a page.
I know. I love them.
So I wanted to make sure it was right. We started talking about, T3 housing, T4 housing, V-band, and then you've got the AR ratio of the housing, and then people are saying if the T4 housing is for higher horsepower applications because it moves a higher volume of exhaust gas, but, the T3 housing, I got that, huh? You can take a screenshot of that too, and I'll put that up. Tom just found that I have a guest portal here that requires an authorization. So,
Department of Justice.
And it's even got a little warning. I even researched it to find exactly the text that they use on their stuff. So you can take a picture. I'll put that up too.
You have some serious issues.
I do. So
that was a good one.
Like you've got V-band, which I know is just nothing other than attachment method. But when you go from a T3 to a T4 housing, at least looking through the stuff I've seen, people don't make a T4 housing with a V-band. So then I wasn't sure if the V-band was a larger opening, in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't did the V-band now, since it went away from a T4 housing flange, if that meant it would move more exhaust? I mean, there's so many, I don't understand this because I've never had to do this. I've never had to research a turbocharger and understand it for myself. So I'm trying to ask a lot of questions without being too annoying, and I'm trying to drill down to what I consider, the proper answers.
Our guys are talking up about this stuff.
Okay.
Problem is they're all going to have different suggestions.
You guys' phones broke? You can call,
Yeah, I posted out there that anybody can call in tonight. So
I was talking about the Middle East, and Aaron Sash, our Aussie guy, says it's hard to get bacon over there.
Probably, I would imagine it probably is.
Maybe tofu.
But those guys are all good guys, right? I mean, there's no problems over there.
Really good guys.
Yeah. This is the whole thing that happens here. Like when you talk about a trade show like that and you say, oh, well, those are the bad guys and they're blowing shit up. Like, dude, there's assholes everywhere. I got no problem with
plenty of assholes here.
Absolutely.
I think we got more assholes than they do, probably.
Oh, no doubt.
Just by volume.
Look at Facebook.
And Naziok.
Yeah, they're belt dread. Tad belt dread will be
belt dread.
So gay.
So you're jealous.
I wanted to get more information about the turbo stuff because I feel like I need to understand it so I can make the decisions for me. And like you said, Grant had said that those are the perfect units.
Yeah.
They're capable of making 900 each. But isn't 900 each like stars are aligned and everything's perfect?
Yeah. Yep. But we don't need stars aligning. I mean, we figured we need, well, we're not going to talk about what we need, but we can make what we need.
Well, if you had
really easily. See,
I've always talked about this before. The add and subtract game. So if you don't know what you're doing, you take, something of known quantity and you try to work your way forward or backward from it.
Right.
So if you took some kind of, say, engine of smaller displacement,
yep,
and put a turbocharger of that size on it,
yep,
what exhaust housing would they use? What would boost levels be normal? You know what I mean? I'm trying to draw a relationship from something that everybody's kind of already researched. Like, do they put that size turbo in a car like Tad's?
Yeah, one.
Okay.
They could.
And how much power do they make with something like that?
In the eight range.
Okay.
Yep.
And they're what, 2.5? Well, they're 2.5 to 2.7 in size,
two
right?
and a half to 2.7. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So cubic inch wise,
That is 160-ish. Right?
well, if it was a half a 5 liter, a 5 liter's a 302. So yeah, 150 something-ish.
Yeah.
So I don't think I should. I was just concerned that the T3 housing was going to hurt something, as far as
Right.
how it would be for power potential. But it looks like
No, it makes enough power, and it will also it won't be the T3. The thing I worried about was if we're going to have an excess back pressure problem.
well, yeah, that's exactly what I was worried
Yeah.
about from everything I read, because the housing is physically smaller.
Yeah.
But yes, it would be in a perfect world, you'd say, I need the right turbo and we'll make it fit.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not one of those situations. I mean, I had to be
Right.
concerned about both sides.
Yep.
All right. Well, I mean, if they say it's right, it's right. Now, have we come to a conclusion or a final thought here on fuel, how we're going to do this?
Well, I mean, you and I have talked about it several times, and I still contend that we should, have drain out fittings, and we'll run on pump fuel and a pump gas
race
tune
gas?
to drive it,
Mhm.
and E85 or E98.
And bring that with us.
We'll bring it with us. Yeah.
Now, I mean, because I would love to be as optimistic as you and say, look, what do we need? A pass or two at each track and we'll be on our way.
Yeah,
I don't
course
think
not.
it's going to be quite that easy.
No.
What do you think something that makes, say, 1,500 flywheel could use per pass?
I don't know. I guess we could figure that out, but I guess we're going to have to consider a gallon a pass.
Okay. Well, then if you said, well, bring 30 gallons,
Yep.
doesn't give you a lot of fucking headroom.
Yeah.
No, but you can buy fuel, can't you?
I don't know what they're going to have at these tracks. Now, Fudley Scropemore told me that Jeff actually is doing the fuel at 4 of the 5 tracks. He's a VP guy.
Yep.
So he said like 16 will be there, and like he was listing off the things that Jeff said would be there.
C16.
Yeah. Will we be better off with a gasoline for ease or no?
I don't know. I mean, why don't we just talk to Jeff and see what he's going to have?
Well, I mean, I told Fudd, I said you should tell Jeff that he should have V98.
Yeah.
He should have all kinds of stuff.
He should.
But you see, these are all the, and I mean, I don't want to sound like the guy that doesn't understand anything, but I have questions.
No, I think it's good. I don't even think that these are questions at this point. I think this is planning.
Well, look, you talk about switching over, and everybody says, well, we run a flex fuel sensor. Look, that ain't magic.
No.
I mean, it's
No,
not,
I think we have 2 tunes, and I think we pump the tank empty, and then you say, well, how much is left in there, residual, and blah, blah, blah. But I don't think it's of any consequence personally.
well, like I said, since you're changing the pumps in the tank, let's say, like I told you on the telephone about my excursion when I had to take the tank down.
Mm-hmm.
I ran a thing out of gas. I ran up my driveway, like
Right,
150 feet from the building.
You know, and we can get that Holly Matt deal too. If we really wanted to be sure that it was empty, which I don't think we need to, but Holly's got that fuel pump mat that literally will suck every ounce.
Yeah, that thing looks great.
Yeah,
And the volume, it can still pass
Yeah.
a good volume, no
Yep.
problem.
Yep.
Well, so I mean, now you've got what I want to know what happens, and I think Scott Clark touched on it. If you have a diluted E85, in my brain, I was saying, well, who cares if it's diluted, because you're going to be rich and you have to tune around it. But there's another side to that somebody brought up to me that makes sense. You could be rich and still hurt it with timing.
Sure.
Yeah. So now that's probably one of the biggest changes that E85 does. It allows more lead.
Mm-hmm.
So now if you have, even though you'd be rich, the E85 sensor would still say, look, we need ignition timing.
Yeah. I don't know that we're going to have those kind of issues, because we're going to hopefully iron that shit out. Well, good thing I didn't get a call.
Mm-hmm.
I shut my media sound off. hopefully we'll iron that out in testing here or in West Palm or wherever, or both.
Yeah. It's just, and again, it's just the way that I've always done things is you do every step of research, you learn every facet that you can, and then you make your own decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, these questions and thinking about detail after detail after detail, I think it's required.
Agreed.
If you want to have a good first effort.
Yep.
I mean, I know you always say, look, we're winning. I don't know if we're winning. I'd like to finish.
Oh, we're going to finish.
Well, I hope so, dude, because
in first.
God. Look, I got
to keep saying it.
You can keep saying it.
Trying to put the fear in the
no,
other
they're
competitors?
not. They're not afraid of us.
No, I'm sure they're not afraid of us. Even
Well, not from what I'm
all they
seeing
want to do is
posted,
laugh
but
at us.
Yeah, no, Bashir's not afraid of anything.
No.
I've studied that truck a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got his shit together. All these guys have their shit together.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Like I said, I'm worried about driveline stuff. So the stuff that I can.
We're not going to look like slapdicks. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
We are not.
Are we going to have a trailer or no?
By we, you mean?
Oh, you guys. Well,
what, are you going to ride in it?
Yeah.
No, I was just wondering if you're going to be another one of the ones that the trailer takes off and goes down to the woods and everybody's got to go help you.
Not
pull
like
it
we
out.
thought. I've trailered more miles than you probably driven in your life.
Uh-huh.
No, the trailer thing, I think
I think we should do a trailer, and I think we should do a build thread on the trailer.
On
There
the
you
trailer
go.
specifically.
Yeah.
We could have Tad take pictures, but
Sure,
only on
I'll do
Fridays.
it. Yeah, whatever.
Only on Fridays.
But see, that's the other side to this. If you're going to buy a fuel that's readily available to the track, it's one less reason for a trailer. And we're kind of right back to a tire rack.
Yeah.
And a jack in a trunk. Or in a jack holder on the tire rack.
Well, I mean, if we have an aluminum jack,
the problem is there really is no room in the back of that thing.
Zero.
There's like zero. There's really no, because it's a convertible. So it's got like a Z06 roof line.
Oh yeah.
So it's small.
Yeah.
It's tiny.
Did you have the little chrome
where are we going to put our luggage
thing on the trunk where you could put your luggage type of thing or no?
I imagine you could.
Chips.
I was going to say what? Like you were saying something stupid, but you're right, because I have seen Corvettes with that. It's like little black stripping.
Yeah.
They're not chrome usually on Corvettes, but they're little black strippings that sit on the back deck.
Well, it's got to match your roof, so.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've seen them on Corvettes and they're black. That's a good point to tie your luggage down. But boy, you'd look like talk about a bunch of idiots. You got luggage strapped to the back of a Corvette. Yeah, I'll pass.
Well, it's either that or you got the parachute holder with 2 tires there. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess the trailer's not that big a deal. We can make something small, light.
Yeah.
Fuel is not terribly heavy. What's a drum? Like 600 pounds? A full drum?
Well, we're going to get 5-gallon pails.
Okay.
That's the way to go.
Okay.
So you're talking about 70 pounds for 5 gallons.
Okay.
Not even.
And you're going to put the spare transmission.
Oh no, 40 pounds. 40 pounds.
I don't know what 85 or E98 weighs compared to gasoline. I imagine it's a little lighter.
Yeah, but it's close. I mean, it's got to be close. What's gas? 8.8.
And then you get into injectors. I know what you said. You get what you need.
Yeah. They don't care. Injectors don't care at all.
Okay.
I mean, if we're gonna run E98, we're gonna have to size the injectors for that, and then the gas will work itself out. In the tune.
Yeah, because I imagine there's room in them, that there's not a problem with going that big. But like, how big would that be? I mean, I didn't even sit down and do the math. But like IDI makes those 2000s, IDI 2000s.
Yeah.
What are they capable of making? I would imagine 2,000 horsepower. And
it's a 2000 cc injector.
Okay.
Well, let me think about it. Let me think about this. I have 1000s, and they're capable of making just over 500 on fuel, on gas.
7 pounds per gallon, but I didn't say what it was. If it's the E98 or.
I think E85, E98 is all probably about the same.
It just sounds to me like it would be nice to use gasoline. But I know there's a performance benefit. I mean, this is going to have intercoolers. There was a question of would it have them or would it not? There's the other thing.
We're probably going to need 1700s because if the thousands make 500 in mine, we need 8 of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And mine make 500, on the buzzer, on the fucking limiter.
Well, what did he tell Tad he needed?
1300s.
Okay. So if you've got 1300s,
right,
that was good enough for you to make what, 6?
650. I'm not sure.
And you got like 4 of them, but you're also not using 85. There's more to be thought out here. I mean, we got to get Paul back. He wanted to come on anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll have to have him come back on and talk.
Well,
about this.
it's not going to take a whole show for injectors. It's going to be like, hey, we're going to make this much power, E85. What do we need? 1700s. Okay, see you later.
No, but he had other shit to talk about.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just saying that's not a problem. That's just a 5-second conversation. It's going to be 1700s.
Okay,
It is.
all right. Well, this particular guest who's coming on now,
Who's this cat?
his name is Matt Blasco,
What's he got?
a Chrysler.
Oh, nice.
So I promised I wouldn't abuse.
Oh, is this the guy with the dart swinger?
I don't know.
Did he do a build thread?
Maybe we'll have to ask him.
him.
But I talked to Matt over this past week, or maybe over this past week, and he was kind of saying use a 16 type fuel. He said that
Could be.
in his mind, but well, let's get him in here.
I thought we were talking about cooling the thing, though.
Listen. Well, this is another thing. This guy says that have all kinds of problems with cooling.
You know, well, of course. You know what one of the big problems is?
What?
Is he on? Hey, you're on the air.
Yeah, how's it going?
All right, shut up for a minute. I'm kidding. That was Tad.
Yeah, okay.
What were we talking
Cooling.
about? Fuel?
Cooling.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, you can't listen to all these people.
Do I ever listen to anybody?
Yeah.
I mean, I make my own decisions.
I know you do, but you get pulled and we talk about it for 7 hours and then we end up doing what we want anyway. But
You talk about
one
it
guy
all over
wants
again.
to use C, one guy wants to use Q. I mean, you could use fucking import. You could use C23.
Listen to me.
Nitro.
There's validity in every one of these discussions to help you make the best decision. And
Sure
this is exactly what we've always said. You could talk to the dumbest guy.
Well, who said that? Your
sit
dad?
down, and learn something. And learn something
Yeah, no doubt.
every time.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Even if it's what not to do.
Learn what not to
there
do.
you go. So yeah, I guess that's fair too. So Matt, you there, buddy?
Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, I am.
Tad's rude for telling you to shut up.
I'm offended. I'm appalled.
All right, we shut his mic off.
Fantastic.
You bastards.
So Matt, DragWeek competitor, a true to life Chrysler guy. So you're not a third gen guy. You are a old school style Chrysler guy. Granted, albeit with
The real deal.
later model stuff. But why don't you tell us a little bit about your car?
That's a 72 Dart I bought back when I was 15, so that's quite a while ago. And I've had it for many years. Started out with a slant 6, went to a big block in it, and then nitrous, then a blower, then turbo, and then bigger turbo, then aftermarket block, and then bigger turbo, and then finally twin turbos on it. It's all still Chrysler based. It's a Keith Black street water block aluminum to the bottom end, and now it's Indy Predator heads up top, the 460 CNC ones. I still run a distributor. I'm just actually going to a coil and air plug setup that DIY Auto Tune set me up with, just to give me a little bit more ignition for it. I run fuel injector development, 2,500 cc injectors in it, so they seem to work pretty good. I used to run billet atomizers, but and a 200 pound, and I found I was maxing them out, so I went to a 250 pound now, so I have quite a bit of room.
Wow, I think about that number. 250 pounds per hour. Holy shit. That's amazing.
What fuel pump, mechanical or electric?
So I used to run 4 Walbro 255s, as funny as that sounds.
4 of them.
4 in a log, and then what I do is stage them. I drive on one, and then, funny, I run a multiplexing wiring system in my car, actually. So
yeah, hold on. This is really important for people to note, because this was something that took place in our conversation. He's really modernized this car. Like, so pay attention to this, everybody. All right, go ahead, Matt.
So I run an infinity box multiplex wiring system, so all I run front to rear is data cables. I don't run any signal cables front to rear. So it's all CAN bus throughout. So what I do is I have one that runs all the time, and then my ECU, I run an MS3 Pro, and it kicks on the other ones either under TPS signal or map signal. So as soon as it hits boost or just up to boost, it'll kick on my other 3. Now, I maxed that setup out at about 1,800 rear wheel is where it starts dropping off. With 4 Walbros, I was going to add a 5th, but Fuel Lab stepped up and helped me out with a couple of brushless ones that now I can slow it down driving on the street, because
Nice.
you can pulse width modulate and keep them really low volume, so you're not going to be cycling too much fuel and boiling it more or less. Because when you're on DragWeek, you could be stuck. I was stuck in Chicago rush hour for 2.5, 3 hours crawling at 5 miles an hour, and that's where I say the cooling system, your charging system, everything, fuel pump has to be so much up to snuff because it's just crazy, right? Some of the stuff they put you through, it's not just driving on back road where there's nobody there. They'll throw you in the middle of busy traffic, so all the time.
So how were those pumps for reliability? I got a question too about, let's talk about reliability and fuel system reliability. How responsive is the regulator? Let's say second, third, fourth pump come on. I mean, does it disrupt anything with fuel pressure? Is it so momentary that it doesn't really matter?
Well, I was running a big Weldon one, so when I'd run the one, I'd set it at a base 40. When I kicked on the other three, I found that it jumped up about 5 psi-ish. Mm-hmm. It couldn't quite return. Now, I run one of those big fuel lab regulators. I ran that just to test with the 4 Wellbros, and that one actually returned a little bit more, where it didn't get that spike when you kick the other three on.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually works a little better. So, the returning when you're doing it, you always have to watch, right? You stage a couple extra pumps in, but the only time that you're ever hitting it is when your fuel demand goes up, because you could also on an MS3 Pro trigger versus pulse width, and you see so much, or even pounds per hour of fuel. As soon as it goes above a certain value, you can kick on your secondary pumps.
Oh, so it can look at injector pulse width and say, okay, look, if the injector's open this long and I'm here, RPM, like it can figure out a loading and figure out when to turn pumps on. That's pretty slick.
Because you can program any algorithm in, which is nice and a lot of ECUs do that nowadays. You talk to a guy like Scott Clark, he can fill you in on stuff like that, where you get into if you want to program a custom algorithm into it to turn on your drink dispenser under the dash when you step on the gas, you could, right? It's nice because everything is versus 10 years ago is a lot different. So if you have something that's a special system, it's not hard to do. Even with the stock stuff now, you can always piggyback on and run CAN bus with it and run inputs, outputs, or do it versus something that's coming out of your stock harness into an aftermarket wiring system to kick on another fuel pump or, just any other systems that you have.
I find it funny that he mentioned a soft drink system onto the dash.
I was wondering if that was a Diet Coke crack.
I think it was. Maybe he doesn't even know it, but it is. It's a joke in my world. Yeah. Well done, Matt.
Well, the other thing you get too is I go grab a big Slurpee because when you're driving along, it gets hot when you're driving down the road. Because I run a big PT 4000 behind my seat. I run my intercooler pipes in my car into the intercooler and then out and back into the engine. So what you're getting is the heat coming on the one pipe. And the funny thing is I brought a pillow on DragWeek there, and my friend was bugging me. Rich Guido was saying, "Oh, hey, Princess, with your pillow." Well, funny thing, buddy Jordan, who came with me, who helped me build my car before DragWeek and get it all together, he ended up leaning on that thing the whole time driving.
Jeez.
Because the pipe was so warm. So that's the other thing is, looking at what kind of heat you have going through your car. Those stupid little vent windows on the old Dodges that you can flip inside and out, where you have to take the penny or half a cigarette pack to keep them from whistling down.
Yeah. God, that's a throwback, ain't it?
Wow. Yeah.
Well, you flip those inside out, and it's nice because you get the actual air coming in and cycling around with those, and they're such a lifesaver because you don't have air conditioning, right? Some do, but I know my car sure doesn't.
Yep, 60-degree air. That's what that is.
We do.
Yeah, we do have those features. How was reliability overall? I believe you told me that for the most part, your thing's been pretty reliable. No big issues.
Yes, exactly. I run a gear vendor's overdrive. My tranny, I'll go on this. My highway driving wasn't the issue. It cruised down the road good. The funny was I did about 4 or 5 dyno pulls before taking it. I had never done any highway, so all we did is take and go on the road, throw it on auto tune, and I had set up the tune beforehand, and we pretty much did our first tuning from our first 5 miles on the highway after our first track back in 15, and then I did all our tuning from there and leaned it out, and it worked really well. So.
Now, you run a conventional race fuel, and you told me your fuel mileage, and I was kind of impressed. I would not have expected that, because how big is the displacement of this thing?
Well, it's a 572. It got between 10 to 12 U.S. miles of the gallon cruising down the road. Now, that converter was a chance. I've since went to Pro Torque. Joe helped me out and set me up with an EV1, and that thing is a lot tighter going down the road. It goes 1,700 RPM at 70, 75 mile an hour, just cruising.
Wow.
I'm sure it'll get probably closer to 14, 15 U.S. miles a gallon with that little trailer on. So, and yeah, with problems going down the road, it was, I think one of my exhaust hangers, we had the mechanics wire up. Hood pin came loose. Besides that, nothing really. Driving, it went pretty smooth. It was on day 4, I broke the clutch hub in the transmission. And then I was actually leading the class all the way up to that point. I was driving through the converter every day, which was, I didn't know. Neil Chance had said, well, try your converter. It should be close. Well, I don't think they realized how much power it was going to make, maybe just because it was a Dodge. But I was burning through it so much, so we threw in some, thickened it up with some high guard in it to get it a little bit tighter on the converter going down the track. And ran 770s at 185, pretty much clockwork. No matter if I had to boost at 12 pounds or 20 pounds, it ran the same time, same mile an hour.
Yeah.
So on a Thursday, I turned it up a little bit out of the hole more. I'm like, well, let's get some better 60. Maybe it'll lock up a bit better down track. Well, we turned it up. It was doing a lot better. If you watch the video on it, it was really picking up. But then clutch hub broke. It rolled out to a 16-second run. Now, the guy who was in second place in our class is Glenn Hunter Jr., who won it this last year in Pro Street Power out of the class I'm on. He pulled apart a transmission he had and gave me a billet clutch hub to get me going again.
Man, you guys are motivated. God bless you.
You put a clutch hub in the thing?
Yeah, well, we pulled it out. It's not that bad. And the nice thing is Rick Prospero, he crawled under there, helped me pull it out. And there's actually, if you look, there's a meme on the internet how baby transmissions are born, and it's my friend Jordan and Rick Prospero and Glenn Hunter, and Glenn's got his hand inside the tranny like he's delivering a baby, pulling this clutch hub out, and we're all smiling like idiots looking inside this transmission, pulling it apart. And he said, I can't win by not. If he says I didn't give you this, I couldn't live with myself. That's the thing with DragWeek. A guy like that, he was getting beat, but he still said, "Hey, I'm in second place, but I'm going to make sure you keep going with this." So it was quite the spirit of DragWeek.
No, and all the people that we've met, through this, and I mean, I always kid around, say, "I'll just keep driving," but I mean, all these people are great people.
You don't kid around about that.
Well,
I know.
I'm not quite that bad. I don't want to ruin my
great.
reputation.
It doesn't change the fact that they're great people.
Yeah, it's amazing the amount of help that I've heard that people have given other people, and people have already said, "Look, if you hurt a head gasket, we'll help you do it." I mean,
yeah, if you
okay
on the side of the road, like I had, I was mechanics wiring my exhaust up. I had a bunch of people stop and offer help, and I'm like, no, we're good. So that's the thing. You end up. Aussies were changing out a tranny, and you get like Dan Nissen came, and he was right under there helping them get it all pulled apart and back together. You never have to ever worry about you have a problem. You'll have at least 10 people stop to help you at any time, any part along the route. So
we just better bring a lot of money.
For what?
Belly button LS, so everybody.
Can we gamble?
No, because if something happens, we'll just throw money at people.
Well, I don't. It's not gonna fix anything. I thought maybe there was a big $2 window I didn't know about.
Well, the trans picture's up on the.
Yeah, that's. And I mean, even somebody else. I can't remember who it was. I'm so like a sieve with memory for stuff like this. But they had people from Sweden helping them. Yeah, I mean that's amazing.
I know, really is.
Well, this last year on DragWeek, we went. My friend Dylan Merkel was with me, and buddy has his Toyota Land Cruiser with a small block Dodge in it. Well. He broke a push rod, and Lana from Roadkill was riding along with us. And the problem with the stupid thing is it was killing push rods. Well, it was funny. So Buddy goes and he looks at it. He says, "Oh, well, he didn't have a push rod for it as a spare." So he pulled the push rod off, and he looks, "Oh, I know that cup." He's like, "That's a 5/32, 12-point socket." So what's he do? He hacksaw the thing off. He Loctite's a 5/32 socket in, tosses it in there, sets the lash, and drove 3 hours on that thing.
Wow.
Just to get you through, and it worked quite well, actually. And if he would have trimmed it just a little shorter, it ended up chipping the corner, but it still worked. If he would have done a little bit more, he could have threw that in his toolbox as a spare.
Did you say Toyota Land Cruiser with a Mopar engine?
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
You know, like these Chrysler guys, they are kind of a special group.
Wow.
You got to give them a wide berth.
Wait, I just want to hear it again. So Toyota Land Cruiser with a Mopar.
Yeah.
Somebody did that on purpose.
Well, it didn't just fall in there.
Well, it's aluminum tub. It looks kind of like a Jeep, but it is a Land Cruiser.
Oh, I know what they look like.
Yeah.
My brother had one, and when it was about 3,000 miles in it, we put a small block Chevy in it, which made sense. There was a kit, there was headers, there was everything.
Yeah, in fairness, we pick on the Chrysler guys a lot, but this isn't like Tad kind of Chrysler. This is real deal.
I know.
Aluminum block. You know, I tried. What did you say today, Matt? It's not really a Chrysler. It's a what?
Well, it's got a Ford diff. It's got a Chevy tranny, kind of like a Big Chief based head. It's like an AMC now, right?
Nice.
Aftermarket motor car.
Yeah.
Well, it's mostly Mopar, though. Like, I still run a Mopar-style lifter. I still, it's a Hemi-based cam because the firing order goes to a Hemi when you go to, a head like that. So it's a little different in that aspect, but everything's still, like, it's an RMS altercation front end, which is actually a street front end in it, just for the driving and the reliability, well, the durability a lot, because you have a lot of potholes, stuff like that. That's what gets some people too, right? Some of the roads they put you through aren't the greatest in the world, so.
Yeah, I don't understand why they do that. That's just stupid.
Well, I was talking to somebody. It might have been when I was talking to Kevin. If they were going to send me, look, I don't want to sound like a marble polisher because I'm not. But I mean, if I've got a nice car,
you kind of are.
Oh, we got to tell I got to tell a rental car story. I forgot about that.
Yeah, good.
We got to tell. We'll get that unless Matt wants to stay in for that one. But if you got a nice car, like I have a gravel driveway, so like when I take the cars out of here, it's like like clutch out first gear on the brake a little bit to keep it going slow enough that you're not throwing shit all. If they sent me down a gravel road, I'd be like, "Fuck you, I'm going home."
Yeah. I know.
Well, they don't send you through gravel. It's mostly just they'll send you through little roads, and sometimes they just can't help that. When they went down it,
it was good.
Summer, it was good because you'll get through. Sometimes they'll be doing construction in the middle of summer, and they just won't know. It's not necessarily that they're trying to make you, run into trouble.
Yeah, we figured that. They should just pre-drive them and let us go around.
It's not the, hey, let's hop on the freeway for 3 hours between tracks. It's, hey, let's go. We were driving through last year Amish country and passing carriages, and it's the funniest thing because it's such a beautiful country, going in and out and dipping through, and just I was laughing with a friend as how well manicured the lawns are. Everything's just green through there. There's not one lawn that's not cut.
That's what you're driving past,
including on their women. But anyway,
come on.
Boom.
So could you imagine that, driving past all the horses and here comes a Chrysler with big tire Chrysler rolling back past them?
Yeah.
The horses are probably like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is I hurt my tranny on 2015 DragWeek. I ended up hurting it 4 times between then DragWeek and DragWeek 16. So I ended up back to 15. I ended up winning fastest Mopar, but I had to submit that 16-second time slip, so it knocked my average to like a 950, which was a kick in the butt. It would have been a 770 average throughout. So then 16 came along. I ended up going down, and my tranny guy said, well, bring it down, we'll go through it. He went through the tranny, and it was a Spragless 400, and my car is not the lightest. It's about 3,600 pounds. So we went down, stopped there, which Guido and Dan Nissen and I and my co-driver Dylan were there. Went through the tranny, threw it in, came to DragWeek, and I ran just in testing 820, and it was slipping a little bit. And then I went through and ran it again, and I ended up with a Spragless tranny. When you're throwing that much power, how a Spragless tranny, it drags 2 gears instead of using the Sprag for the hit, is in essence the way that it works. Well, I found the limit on a Spragless tranny with that kind of weight, so now I went to a Rossler Pro Mod Max 400, and yeah, it kind of screwed my DragWeek 16, but this 17 hopefully should be the year. We'll see.
How much power you figure this thing makes? I mean, do we?
I got it made 1970 wheel with no correction. It's about 21 pounds. I can turn it up a little higher. It's pretty much a similar combo like that Jason Digby has in that drag radial dart that runs.
How big are the turbos?
It's got twin 94 comps on it.
Oh, yeah.
Big puppies.
It had 91s, but we sized them up just for efficiency-wise. But I can throw, it'll make 3,000 plus horse if I want it to.
Yeah, you said 21 pounds, right?
Well, yeah, so I can throw 30 pounds, 40 pounds, make even more. But I think the goal more on DragWeek for what I'm doing is make it live and just put enough power through where you can get ahead of the group, but not run it on the ragged edge. Because that's the problem. You look at some of these guys running ragged edge, they're burning head gaskets and just everything. But that's not to say I'm not going to try and run it all out.
That's why I wanted to overbuild everything.
Yep.
Because I want to be able to go faster, but just survive. That's what I was looking for.
Same. We got to get pistons. We got to get our pistons done too.
Yeah.
What kind of lifters are you going to run? Are you going a solid roller or a hydraulic roller?
I think I'm going to use a hydraulic roller.
Yep.
I think I spent
something that works.
Yeah. I mean, I spent some time, looking at different hydraulic lobes and looking at, some people's, turbo cam ideas. And I think I got something. I mean, look, I'm the guy that, and I know people have discussed this back and forth. I mean, I'd put Jessel keyways in it in a minute if it was going to be, a real roller and a, big giant cam tunnel and, like you talked about, like a lot of spring pressure on the seat and everything. But I don't think that's really required here.
No,
I don't.
Like I run a bushed Iski roller lifter, and I pulled them out. They still feel just the same as the day they went in.
Yeah, the new Bush stuff is really amazing.
Oh, it's amazing how good it works, and then you get going rolling down the road. I think my last change to maybe it loosened up 5 thou throughout a week of driving.
Wow.
Like it's just that little when you're push rod oiling and able to throw as much oil up top as you can. And the nice thing with a turbo cam, the basic recipe is, add 5 to 10 degrees extra on the exhaust and a big wide LSA. And like we were talking, it's you can be out on a turbo cam, and turbos have a good way of masking not the best cam selection too.
Yeah. Just turn the dial.
Yeah. I mean, you
turn it up.
You do have a boost knob.
Yep.
But I mean, like I'm concerned about all this stuff. And I had a conversation with Matt about fuel. I mean, you use regular a 16, right? What do you use? Do you use like a Q16 or you use a C16?
More like a C16 or
okay.
I've been running some unleaded kind of 116 lately, but
who's
whatever. A few stuff, yeah. It works really well, actually. I've been quite surprised on how good that fuel has been running. But at most of the tracks, it's kind of like a C16 is one of the best available. The thing is why, when you're driving and racing, why cheap out and risk burning it down when you look at running a little bit of pump gas or a mix that could wreck your whole week? Well, you might as well just run the best gas you can, and then if you can, drain it out and throw pump gas in, or even if you can do it on pump gas, mix in a race gas, the higher octane, the better. Why not have that tuning window where you're not on the edge? That's just kind of the way I treat everything, rather than, well, let's cheap out, run a water meth with straight pump gas when you could run race gas through it.
Never understood that. Never understood that at all. The water and methanol injection.
Everything. Well, that's made for when you can't run race fuel.
I hear you. But I mean,
the thing is, I used to run a small nozzle just as a little bit of insurance, because I used to run a bit of pump gas. I did take it off since, but you'd be amazed at how nice and clean it keeps your combustion chambers and pistons.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
It's like having a steam cleaner in the engine.
Yeah, pretty much. I was just seeing a guy in the message board for how much spring. I run about 400 seat and 850 open.
Whose springs do you run?
Crazy. I'm running pack.
Oh, you're killing me. Killing me.
Set me up with us.
All right, don't ever say. I mean, just lie next time.
Oh, the Manleys.
So, what kind of springs you running?
Oh, man,
that's what I thought. The next text, right? Awesome.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Here's a sound clip.
I'm gonna. No, if you need something, I could get you hooked up somewhat. I mean,
Good. You know, the nice thing with DragWeek is you get a lot of these companies, and because I'm running a Mopar, it's a little bit odd. Not everybody runs a Ford or an LS or a GM, where I'm running a Mopar and running it relatively fast compared to some of the other Mopars on there. You know, you get Eddie Miller, he's kind of puts it on the edge there too. He'll be back this year, but you look at it like I get all these companies that right on board will help you out, where I kind of wish it was when I was building it, but it's sure not hard to get sponsors to help you out, or even just when you're ordering stuff, they'll step up and just right away, like I got Cometic Gasket, help me out with a set of head gaskets, and you get DIY Auto Tune. As soon as they found out I had an MS3 Pro on it, they went in right away and helped me out with it. And, you know, you've got such a wealth once you're in there, and once you're running DragWeek, all these companies know what you're doing, and they have an idea of what to expect when they're outfitting you with parts too.
Yeah, it's a great advertisement. And, you know, any manufacturers, and it's amazing how many manufacturers have actually heard this.
Yep.
You know, they should, you know, if you're looking to help people in racing to get your, you know, your products out there, these guys are a great bunch and a grateful bunch. I mean, this is a good group to be involved with.
no doubt.
Well, and good for the sport too. So I think it's fucking
It's great.
fantastic.
It's you look at just normal guys, and this is some of these guys, it's their vacation for the year, which, you know, even if you're not running a 7-second or 6-second car, you're running a 10 or 12-second car, the people that are around and just the scenery and going to each track, it's amazing because you see so many different stories of what everybody is doing. So even if you're not running at the top of your class, you meet so many people that also you look at how everybody does something a little bit differently. You can pick up right away on, hey, I never thought of it that way. You know, before Walbros, some people say, oh, you're stupid. Well, they lasted the week. They worked great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they're made to drive around in a car.
Who said you're stupid?
Well, you know, some of these guys look at it as like, why at that horsepower level? Well, they're like, oh, you should run a huge Weldon pump or run a belt drive pump. Well, you know, why do that when you can just run a Walbro pump? It's just some of these guys that assume that you should be running, you need to run the best. Well, no, it doesn't have to be the best. It's what works rather than, you know, just because it says a certain name.
I hope nobody calls us stupid.
I don't think so.
They can call us a lot of shit, but stupid ain't going to work.
Well, I like to think like specifically on the fuel pumps, and I'm not knocking Weldon at all. I'm haven't used their products. I'm not endorsing or bashing, but I mean, to me, Walbro makes pumps to drive around
everything, yeah,
for, you know, hundreds of thousands of miles. That's the kind of pump I'd want to put in my car.
I think they stay cool in that fuel tank too.
That helps too.
I went to a new fuel system now, and the fuel lab helped me out. They saw it with the Walbros, and they kind of giggled a little bit, and they said, well, that's one way of skinning a cat. So they set me up with these big brushless pumps that you can slow right down, because the nice thing with brushless technology, you can pulse width modulate them. So they also make regulators that'll regulate the flow and the speed versus demand. So you get into stuff like that where they're actually getting it into, hey, that's perfect for a DragWeek car, or that's perfect for a really big horsepower car that you're running on the street that you can slow down. So when those guys said, hey, this is, you know, something that would work for you, I was all over it, versus, because you go into having 4 pumps, you have 4 pumps now that, what if one fails?
Yeah.
And you're running it on the edge, the more points of failure in a way, but like you guys say, when it's an OEM pump that's meant to run all day, every day.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Since you said Fuel Lab stepped up and hooked you up on these 2 brushless pumps, what exactly did they do for you?
Well, what did they do for me?
Yeah, they give them to you?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, no kidding.
I was quite surprised. I didn't even assume. I just phoned them up looking for them, and they knew my car. And it was funny. We got lost at the gas station, and I pulled up. And this guy looks at my car. He's like, oh, sweet car. And it's just an old flat black, they call it the Dirty Dart, right? So they just looked at it, and that thing sounds pretty mean. So he looked under the hood. He's like, holy crap. He's like, well, it was Josh from Fuel Lab. He looks, he's like, what kind of fuel pumps do you run? I told him, he kind of laughed a little bit. He's like, well, hey, that works. And he said, well, give me a call. And he said, when you need some pumps. So I gave him a call, and he talked to his boss. They looked at my system and said, hey, here you go. And you get like a guy, Brian Goldstone, he runs the Javelin on DragWeek. He runs the same thing, a couple of those, and he's been running how many DragWeeks, and they just work. So
Real AMC.
I like that. I like that principle of being able to modulate pump speed like that. That's actually a pretty nice deal.
Mm-hmm.
That is a pretty nice deal.
And it's great where you get some of these ones that they have pump speed controllers, and a lot of the pumps, when they're not brushless, they don't react as well, because when you try and lower the voltage, it starts screwing with amperage and they heat up. For a brushless pump, you slow them right down to a crawl just enough, and then the nice thing is they react so quickly when you can put an output. My MS3 Pro will speed them up. As soon as I hit on it, it'll kick my other one on and speed my primary one up.
That's pretty badass. I got to tell you, and I had said this to Tom, I said, after talking to Matt, I said, I think the MS3 is extremely versatile.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's an awful lot of stuff you could do with that.
Well, they make a drop-on harness for your car, too. Now, not saying that the stock LS computer isn't capable. It's just some of the add-ons. You want to do a two-step, stuff like that. It's costing you money, where a lot of this is built into, say, a Holley MS3. Take any ECU out there, big stuff, whatever you want, they all have it built in. It's just that money that you start spending on a two-step or, even a bump box. You can bump box off your MS3 Pro. So it's...
The MS3 Pro has they have a direct wire harness.
Yeah, they have a complete drop-on. They have an ultimate harness now that you can drop on, plug in. Now, the thing is, if you want to use a lot of your CAN bus system in your car to run your dash and such, I know they've done it. And like as I mentioned, Scott Clark again here, I'm sure he has dealt with making it interface with the dash, or at least making part of the systems work. Or you could even piggyback the stock ECU against and run some of the sensors in parallel to each other.
Might have to revisit.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because somebody posted before that it'll run the transmission too.
Yeah. And I mean,
you can run everything with it. And the other
can you run the drink dispenser?
Yeah.
Okay.
To look at it, the stock ECU is more than capable. The only problem with it is you get into running so fast is there's a lot of things you have to be desired. Like, say, mine, if I forget to kick my intercooler pump on, my intercooler pump kicks on automatically same as my fuel pumps. When it gets under boost or even IAT gets too much, it'll kick it on. So if I have a brain fart and forget to turn it on, it just automatically will do it for you. So after a few days of drag week and you're sitting on the line and you'll think about it, did I turn that on? You don't have to worry about it.
What does the MS3 cost?
I have to look. They're
roughly
$1,500, just under $2,000. And
wow.
In relation to looking at some of the ECUs, they're a lot better priced.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it a lot of times, and my only thought about Mega Squirt is that I know it's more complicated, and anything that gets more technical is going to get more complicated. There's more to learn.
That shouldn't matter. We have time.
The nice thing is, though, is the amount that you learn about fuel injection when you go to an aftermarket ECU. Like I say, any ECU. Like Rich Guido, he's the best example. He didn't know anything about, he used to run a carburetor. He went to an MS3 Pro and he said, Matt, he saw my car and said, hey, wow, yours works so well. Set me up with one. So we went through, I went, got him one because I am a auto-tune dealer. I said, here, run it. I talked to him on the phone. He went through, read the manual back to back. I threw it on my dyno. We quickly did a tune on it. I sat with him, showed him how to do it, and once you know and have that base tune set up, everything else is cake, because they have a lot of the auto-tuning features, your data acquisition. They have an internal SD card that'll automatically data log your whole trip. So if you had something happen, pull out your data log, run it through, and you're done. It's really simple. So it is the nice thing with the drop-on harnesses, you don't have to wire it in. You don't have to be a genius that way. Plug and play. They give you a bass tune, and then from there you can start playing with it. And then that way too, like I'm looking at some of the LS ones, you go into HP tuners, you flash it to do the 3-bar map tuning, stuff like that. They are capable in that way. It's just sometimes getting a cat, there's a little bit easier of a way going to aftermarket ECU where you go a low impedance injector, it stops you from running a driver box because an Ultimate has it built in. So.
Yeah, there's, I mean, the stock computer thing, we looked at that a while ago, but the amount of Band-Aids that you have to apply to make it do everything, I don't think that was ever worth it. But I would like the stuff in the car to function. I mean, and look, do I need a distance to empty calculation or an average speed? No, I don't give a shit about that. But I'd like, little things like gas gauge, tack, all speedometer, all that crap just to work like it's supposed to. My air conditioning and heater controls are all, tied in.
Or you get your body control module and your other modules still, you can run them somewhat of a piggyback on that system and still have them do it with running an aftermarket ECU. And the nice thing is you guys have enough listeners and people out there like myself and a lot of other tuners that would be able to help you. And the nice thing on DragWeek is there's a lot of spare ECUs or you have problems. A lot of guys run it where you run into a stock ECU problem, you're going to have to go scour a junkyard to go grab one, or if you're running that big of an injector, you're going to have to bring an extra flyback driver box with you.
Yeah, well, and you see, one of the things that I always brought up with this is that because it is, in fairness, the last time I tuned anything was DFI stuff. That's not true.
Probably mine. Yeah.
Your early Holly stuff, right?
No, DFI.
Was yours a DFI or was it Holly?
DFI.
Why do I think it was a Holly?
The funny thing, I tuned one yesterday, one of those old handheld Weber first generation Edelbrock handhelds.
Oh, yeah.
Plus or minus the fuel in these levels. And I looked at fuel injection where it was to where it is now. Now anybody can do it versus before. It's really like you thought, wow, it's complicated. I've been involved in Mega Squirt for a long time, and I remember Mega Squirt 1. Like, it was really, you had to be really in tune with DFI, know what you're doing, where now everybody can do it. And you get a Holly system. It's a drop-on. They give you drop-downs. Hey, I want this tune. It gives you at least a base. And actually, as Steve Groenig is mentioning on the chat here, you can do traction control. So if you're not that great of a driver,
yeah, we knew that.
Good of a driver you are with pedaling it, you take and do that differential between wheel speeds if the thing's not pulling the tires, or you can make it delay a second or two to say, okay, ignore the front wheel speed until so far out. So if it starts spinning, it'll actually pull back the power, pull timing out, or depending what you're doing, boost and have it react that way too. So that's where you get into the advantages of aftermarket ECU versus stock ECU. Stock ECU, it's kind of long for the ride.
Yep. Now, one thing that's interesting through this whole conversation is we haven't talked about it. You're an IT guy. That's what you do, but you're doing more and more tuning and you have a dyno and the whole deal. That's it's another deal for you, right?
Yeah, I'm busy. I got 20 cars in queue to do in the next month here, and there's actually a fellow Pat Miker. If you look on, it's a 66 Chevelle with an F3R Pro Charger on. I think it's a 632 that's going in the unlimited class. It should run a 6. We're going to come down. It has a Big Stuff 3. With the Big Stuff 3, I used to run a Big Stuff 3 for years, and I ended up getting Phil Tobin and Mike Moran involved to write new software for Big Stuff. That's why the new software, that Big Stuff looks a lot like the Mega Squirt stuff, really brought the Big Stuff 3 kind of full circle into. The nice thing is the Mega, like the MS3 Pro is one of the good ECUs, the new control system that's there. Now a Big Stuff can do it. So we're going to go through, tune this car. I'm going to teach Rich's brother Bob how to tune the thing so they can cruise down the road. And that's the nice thing is it at least gives you something to do if you're going down the road and look at it, where a stock ECU, you want to flash it. You can do real-time tuning, but as on the MS3, you say, hey, it could lean up a little bit here. At least it gives you something to do those hours and hours of driving, to make yourself feel.
Yeah, it's like playing a game while you're driving. You're like, oh, look at this. I think I can move this a little bit. Yeah.
and that's the thing is where I think I got my mileage out of is leaning it out to the point where you get a surge or throwing in a bunch of timing in those really light load situations that you all know about where you're kind of on the throttle, but you're not. And it's just in a coast mode-ish where it's almost doing fuel cut, but it's not, but you can make it really lean in those situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get a kick out of trying to make the mileage side good. Well, listen, what you got to do is you got to tell people where you're at, and if you want, how they can get in touch with you, unless you're not looking for any more tuning work, because, I think that, all these guys, everybody that's come on, the amount of resources that people have availability-wise, go back and listen to podcasts and get in touch with people. It's really actually pretty good.
Yep.
And Matt actually said that he goes, sometimes I just kind of fast forward through you guys talking and I get to the technical guest. I was like, thanks, Matt.
Yeah. You're welcome. It's not that I don't like your voice. It's just
I knew telling him to shut up in the beginning was the great idea.
Well, I was talking about, was it your assistant, right? That's who I was talking.
Sarah.
Oh, Sarah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's got a new assistant. I didn't even know about that. So he was screwing with his assistant when I first met him, and it was quite the interesting story. But
She's a good girl.
yeah, seems to be. So
Sarah.
I have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/thedirtydart. I just put a lot of the stuff that I do with that car more interesting to do with that. We're on LA Dyno Service in Lethbridge, 403-315-4076. That's how to get a hold of me by text or just on my Facebook page is fine.
Whereabout is that? Like, I mean, give me because
I'm in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada, but I'm just north of the Montana border, so
okay.
I deal as an American most of the time.
All right, that zoomed me in. Like
Right.
Canada's like throw a big dart up there somewhere, but that Montana helped. Now I can narrow it down to half the country when I hear it.
It's like 2/3 over there.
Yeah.
Right. I'm above Montana is the best way of putting it.
Perfect.
Cool.
Perfect. Well, hopefully it gets you some work, and I look forward to meeting all you guys.
Looking for work, but it's anything I can do to help you guys and at least point you in the right direction, get you some cooling advice.
Oh, yeah, we'll see. Don't worry. When we're there, I'll be like, hey, Matt, so look at that. No overheating. Imagine that.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to see. All right, Matt. Well, listen, man, it was good talking to you. If there's ever anything, that you need or Tom and I could do for you, give us a call, and we appreciate it. And if anybody needs tuning out in that area, there's a guy to call. Another good resource.
oh yeah.
No doubt.
Sounds great. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
See ya.
No problem. Bye.
So he's paid some pretty serious horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I mean, I've never hated on the Mega Squirt. I want to make that clear.
No, you haven't.
Because a couple of people, and I've actually been intrigued.
Yeah.
Many times over.
Yeah, we might have to reinvestigate. You know what I'd like to get? I'd like to get a one of the manuals. You think you could get one?
I'm sure they're probably online.
I was going to say,
I don't want to
online
keep it a
is
secret
more
if you
mine.
have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I lost my manual. What's the password? I mean, they're not going to do
Mega
that.
Squirt Pro.
Never know.
So, should I tell my rental car story before we leave?
Yeah. We'll end on that.
All right. So, we decide we're going to go to Grand Canyon on one of our Las Vegas trips. I usually rent a little Cadillac CTS. They didn't have any. They replaced them with Ford MKZs or whatever that dork McConney or whatever drives. And we went to the Indian side of the Grand Canyon.
McConney.
Whatever his name is.
Where the expensive gas is.
Yeah, but we went to the engine side.
Yeah.
Because you could.
Because there's no rules.
No rules.
Right.
Literally no rules. Well,
I know.
I'll tell that story another day.
Yeah.
But you could fly a helicopter down in there. They drop you off on a little boat. Somebody drives you up and down, say, oh, look how much the water went away, blah, 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 whatever. Yep. Well, on the way to the Grand Canyon, they had decided to do a massive amount of road construction.
Yep.
I mean, like at a scale that I have never seen anywhere else in the United States. I mean, this is like elevated road through shit that they must have blasted for years to get this. And they have a beautiful, gigantic, wide gravel road. Now,
gravel.
I'm not the only one driving to the Grand Canyon this route. There's a whole bunch of people.
Gravel.
People in front of me, people behind me. So we're driving along and the people are going faster and faster and faster, and it's just killing me. Like I hear the rocks coming up on the side of the car. I'm like, holy shit. And I can't slow down. At one point I did slow up a little bit so people could pass me, but you finally got to the point that like you just become immune to it. You don't even hear it anymore. You're like, I don't even care. I don't even care.
And you really don't know what's going on. It's just making noise, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't know what's going on, making all kinds of racket. So we get to the Grand Canyon. The whole car's full of dust, like from gravel, just like it was black and it looks like it's gray.
Yep.
I get to the Grand Canyon. We get out. I look at the car. I'm like, oh, it's a fucking mess. I'm definitely going to have to clean this thing. We got down to Grand Canyon, went back to the hotel. Then that night we were leaving, drove to L.A. Well, now I'm at L.A. I got a minute. Take a look at the car. It had fiberglass like rocker panels on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They were virtually gone.
Yeah.
I mean, gone. Like paint's off. Like you could put your finger through them. It's sandblasted, like right behind the tire.
Like shot blasted with gravel.
Oh, yeah. A hole, and then there's gravel inside it. I'm like, I am going to get fucking crucified.
Yep.
The rental car people are going to kill me. I dropped that thing off, and I never heard a word.
It's amazing.
Not one word.
Amazing.
But I mean, could you imagine that? The rocker panels were like they were inches from falling off.
Makes you wonder what the bad things that they actually give a crap about look like.
The reason I always think about that is when we talk about driving on gravel roads I'm very conscientious when I borrow a car. You know, when I rent a car, I take good care of mine. I don't beat on them.
You know why they didn't catch it?
Well, somebody else got fucked.
No.
You don't think so?
No, they just didn't do a build thread.
Tad, you're never going to escape this.
Probably not. I don't know if I got 60 in, but we got enough.
We got enough.
No doubt.
So, all right. Well, next week we're going to have to get, an actual guest, like somebody that can actually come on. I don't know who you can get.
I'll get somebody.
All right.
I'll get somebody good.
Yeah, and hopefully Tad will manage to get himself over to where they're putting his car together so he can get a couple pictures.
Yeah. So it could actually get done.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week. You're not going anywhere, right?
Nope.
I'm not going anywhere.
Tad?
Hey? Nah.
All right. So we'll see everybody
I'm coming here.
Good. See you
All
guys.
right. See ya.